The Eafp podcast.
As electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub, my friend.
On the JCA Sports Podcast on Spotify and Anchor app. What's going on, everybody? The Eafp podcast is on live. Ooh, that's not a good angle. I mean, there it is. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, a lot to talk about. Dominating performance from the U.S. men's national team. Captain America scoring a hat trick to defeat Panama 5-1. The Selección Mexicana, not convincing, but got the result. 1-0 away on the road to against Honduras. Canada solidified their spot in the World Cup by defeating Jamaica 4-0 at home and qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in, what was it, 30-some-odd years, 20-some-odd years. So congratulations to them. And Costa Rica kind of putting their foot into the playoff spot and winning 2-1 against El Salvador today. And basically the four that we thought that were going to be there are going to be there. The United States men's national team are still one step, probably just one result away, just a tie to qualify. Same for the Selección Mexicana as they face against Costa Rica on the road. And also, the Selección Mexicana also need a tie to qualify to the World Cup too as well automatically. Only a disastrous result from the United States men's national team against Costa Rica on Wednesday will make sure they won't qualify automatically and just go for the playoff spot. That's the worst that could come from the United States men's national team, as well as the Selección Mexicana of disastrous results at home against El Salvador on Wednesday, and a result from Costa Rica winning against the United States men's national team at home will result for them to be in the playoff spot too as well. The Eafp podcast here, the special edition World Cup qualifying podcast. Guys, I put the link up here if you guys want to join me to talk some football, some soccer, some World Cup qualifying. And let's start with the U.S. men's national team. Dominating performance from beginning to end. Captain America scoring a hat trick. Yes, he scored a hat trick today to solidify the 5-1 drumming of Panama, which automatically eliminated them with the result today. Panama just needed a result to kind of stay alive for the playoff spot, but regardless of any disastrous result, Panama has been eliminated by the United States men's national team. And let's be honest, from they were convincing from front to back to front, wherever you want to call it, outside of the little mistake that they had during the corner kick. The United States men's national team had a control. 2 penalties from Christian Pulisic and a run of play, 2 as a goal as well. In all phases, in all aspects of the games, the United States men's national team just dominated the game today. So congratulations to them as they're inching closer to qualify for the World Cup. Guys, I want to know what you guys expect or what you guys thought of the performance between the United States men's national team today. And how confident do you feel like these guys can actually make a good run in the World Cup this year? Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself because they still have to play on Wednesday. But they're more than likely they're in automatically unless if there's a disastrous result against Costa Rica for sure on Wednesday on the road, where the United States men's national team has not won a World Cup qualifying matchup in Costa Rica. And so it begins. All they need is a point. They just need a tie. The tie and they're in for sure. Going to the comments, my boy Mario Duffman, what's going on? He's not gonna lie, the whole soccer playoff spots confuses me. But with Mexico tied the other day and winning today against Honduras, where does that put Mexico? Easy, one step closer to the World Cup. Before the qualifying matchups, both the United States men's national team and the Selección Mexicana just needed 5 points to qualify automatically and put the other teams, Panama and Costa Rica, into the playoff spot. They got 4 out of the 5, and they got 1 more to go. Obviously, with goal differentials, the United States men's national team is ahead of the Selección Mexicana, which puts them in second, and then the Selección Mexicana in third, with Canada qualifying automatically at the number 1 spot, which will give them sort of kind of a favorable draw in the drawing next Friday. So that's all it is. It's really I could put it as plain as simple as that, Duff man. The both of the Selección Mexicana and the United States men's national team just need one more point coming on Wednesday for them to qualify automatically, and they don't have to worry about an extra playoff spot against the Oceanic or Asian team who is going to be on there. So that's where we're at today. As this is the EAFP podcast here on Facebook Live, also on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Make sure you guys follow not only the EAFP podcast on Facebook, but also the JCAA or the John Conavi Facebook page too as well, and all our social media handles too. Just make sure you follow us. I got the stream up, guys. If you want to come in and talk to me about the game today. What was the most surprising thing you saw outside the 5-1 drumming between the United States men's national team, the Selección Mexicana? We'll talk it English, Spanish. We'll do it all here. And how confident you feel on Wednesday if these guys get the results. So we'll go from there as we go to the Facebook comments too as well. Cousin Nani, Mexico cutting every game close. Makes me sad, Nani. You're not the only one, bro. I can tell you that much. The one thing that I will say about the Selección Mexicana is this, and I feel that these guys or whatever Tata and his staff has planned for these guys isn't working. Why it worked for the first couple games, first 5, 6, 17 matchups, whatever they had with Tata. Only reason is because it was something new. The lack of, I don't want to say talent, but I guess the lack of urgency, the lack of whatever it is, how Tata wants these guys to play, it doesn't fit this style. Especially when you have Chucky, supposedly your best player in the Mexican team, Raúl Jiménez, which is the best striker the Selección Mexicana has, Jesus Corona, which is the best talent, I guess people would think that they have. And then you also have players like Hector Herrera, who's been there, done that, who's had his time dominating the Selección Mexicana for many, many years and still continuing to this day. It's not the right mixture. It really isn't. And I think the moment that they get 3 up to the attacking front, they have no idea or no clue what to do. You're right. Inconsistency has always been the number one problem for the Selección Mexicana, and it still has to this day. And the only reason why it is I just don't feel like the right mixture is there, or the right setup isn't there. It's been a problem, and it continues to be a problem, and it has always been a problem for anybody, for the Selección Mexicana. And when you have that front three with Chucky, Corona, and Raúl Jiménez, and in the World Cup, in this qualifying matches, I think they haven't even mustered up a goal. If I saw that correctly, not a single goal with the 3 most talented players that Selección Mexicana can throw out there up front. Duffman Mario goes and says, I did see the part of the game Mexico did look good today, but these close games need to stop because it's a big risk to play like that. You know what? I don't think it's. I honestly don't. It's cutting it close because I think these guys have lack confidence and probably in the system. I feel like that's what it is. They lack the confidence in the system because they don't have no other creative identity whatsoever going up front and trying to attack the goals. Don't get me wrong. The moment that Antuna and Diego Lainez came in, you kind of seen a little more fresh of an attacking aspect from the Selección Mexicana too as well. And even though their goal came off from a corner kick, their goal actually was set up by Lainez and Antuna to get the result for the corner kick. Edson obviously puts it in on the back of the net. We think he put it in the back of the net. But regardless of the fact, you're right. None of this, it doesn't convince. Maybe it's time to reposition some players. Who? That's the number one question I want to have. Who needs to be switched out? Now, my personal feeling is I feel like has the Tecatito Corona shouldn't be in the starting lineup. I was talking with my dad and my uncle during the game today too as well. That he should not be in the starting lineup. I think more like Alexi Vegas or Antuna, even give the young man an opportunity to start in a game like this in a World Cup qualifying matchup. Maybe Diego Lainez. I feel like this Mexican team probably needs a number 10 to solidify that spot. I've always said give the creativity to Hector Herrera, although it's not his position, but maybe even a number 10. You could put in Lainez there, although he's been more of a wide player, but he can also play the center attacking mid. Something to give some type of creativity. Now, but that means you have to go outside of your comfort zone playing the 4-4-3. So who do you risk taking on? Easy guess for me is Tecatito. You could probably put a 2 and put Chucky and Raúl Jiménez there. But time and time again, you've seen that they get into each other's way. Chucky, a great 1v1 player up front, personally trying to attack the player. And Raul Jimenez, who's a great ball handler inside the top of the 18 or inside the 18. But they both decide every single time to get in each other's way, and something does not work time and time again with these three. So reposition, who are you going to put in? I've always been an advocate of maybe Edson needs a running mate with two with no one next to him with Luis Romo. I've always been an advocate of that. Obviously, let Herrera be free a little bit. Let him be that guy to distribute the ball and let the other two kind of dictate the middle a little bit. Have Herrera the free roll, but that's not really his style of game. Something has to give, right? I think you take away, you give something away, and I think that's pretty much it. I think it's time to see something different from the Selección Mexicana. Whether if it is saying goodbye to Tata Martino, whether if it is saying goodbye to anybody. Nani goes and says, I think it's Raul's time to sit back and get creative with the formations. I completely agree with you. For me, who's the best number one striker for the Selección Mexicana, and nobody's after that. Like literally, it's Raul Jimenez, and then what? Funes Mori doesn't do it for me. Henry Martin doesn't do it for me. Chicharito's time is up. There's no other striker outside Raul Jimenez that can convince me that say, hey, you know what? This guy is the only guy up front. And then that's it. Henry Martin, he gives you the dirty goals. That's fine. That's great. But he can't do anything outside of that too as well. So I don't know what's the next best step. It's a lot more question marks than answers for sure. And the Selección Mexicana or the Federación Mexicana has to make a decision quick, because literally next Friday is the draw, and we have to change up from here to November. Now that the World Cup is going to be in November this year in Qatar, is going to be Chicharito's not that guy. Even with this team that has little to no service, Chicharito won't do enough for this team today than what Raul Jimenez is doing. Chicharito, although he could probably get the ball and somehow, some way create inside in the middle, he still is that guy that needs to service in. And even with these two guys, and even with Hector Herrera and whoever else comes in, the service doesn't come in enough or a lot for Chicharito to do some type of damage. He may have, I'll give him speed over Raul Jimenez any day of the week. Chicharito has always had that. He's always been a feisty, quick forward, but not enough for this type of team to have something for him to create inside of the box. The Eafp podcast here on Facebook Live. Guys, make sure you like this podcast and all our other podcasts too, as well as Sports Strip Live and the JCA Sports Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and all our social media. We do not, it's not even, no, Chicharito is not the answer. I'm telling you guys, he is not the answer. The service, that the lack of service is Chicharito's just another person, just like how Raul Jimenez is. And it's unfortunate to say that too, because Raul Jimenez is that guy to create and to give the opportunities, but yet the lack of service inside the balls, the lack of cohesiveness with his unit, everything else, Chicharito will just be like another one. The Henry Martins, I think he's probably one of the, I guess the one say that he really doesn't need the ball, but he needs the service. That's Chicharito. Chicharito needs the service. And the lack of between Lozano and Corona and Herrera is not there. He won't get that service. A through ball, even then, I would give speed for speed Chicharito over Raul Jimenez. But other than that, Chicharito won't create. And the one thing about Raul Jimenez is that he's good in tight areas and tight spaces, but it just hasn't worked for some odd forsaken reason with these front three and the Tata Martino Selección Mexicana. Guys, the link is on here if you guys want to join and talk about the World Cup qualifying matches today. Both, even the United States men's national team, as Captain America puts 3 in the back of the net and added 2 more in a 5-1 victory against Panama that eliminated Panama from the World Cup. Costa Rica is in the playoff spot for now, unless there's some catastrophic something happens on Wednesday between them and the United States men's national team and Costa Rica. Canada secured their spot today, and Mexico got the result that they needed. So a lot to look forward to from Wednesday as another Eafp podcast will be on Wednesday. Pre-game for the games and maybe even some results. See who, and we'll know who will be in the World Cup coming in on Friday, as the draw is on next Friday, guys. If you guys don't know, the draw for the World Cup 2022 Qatar will be on Friday. Ooh, I think that should be a good podcast too as well. Talk about the group stages, which is the group of death. Ooh, that would be a great topic. What do you guys think? Should I do a podcast on Friday for the World Cup qualifying? That's not a bad idea. That sounds pretty good. So, a lot to talk about. Today's podcast too as well. A lot to say. Let's talk a little bit more on the United States men's national team and how well they dominated in the performance today against Panama. I didn't see it coming. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought it was gonna be more of a competitive matchup between both two, because given what was at stake, Panama kind of still was controlling their fate. They're still controlling their fate in either to get into this playoff spot against the Oceanic League for to qualify for the World Cup. And within, what was it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 3 goals from the United States men's national team kind of killed their dreams. It killed their dreams. Costa Rica got the results. They are now in, and regardless of the fact, even with a loss between the United States or Mexico and then match up the goal differential, Costa Rica has a chance to qualify automatically to next World Cup. But we'll see. We'll see on Wednesday when we talk about that pregame matchups. On Wednesday, that's for sure. Yeah, Nani says great to talk about predictions and stuff. For sure. Anytime we get close to talk about to the World Cup, we always see who's going to be in it. Obviously, the European matchups will be decided this week too as well, to qualify for the World Cup. So a lot of Italy's out of the World Cup. That was a big surprise over the last weekend. And then we got a lot more to go. So yeah, lots to talk about for sure on Wednesday. Who's going to qualify? What group would we love to see? Obviously, I'm going to read into it who goes into what possibilities will we reach for the United States men's national team and the Selección Mexicana by then if they qualify automatically. Canada might have a simple draw that they won the group too as well. So lot to get into, lots to talk about. Ronaldo to Qatar. You know what? Unless if Macedonia has something to say about it, they did it to Italy. Can they do it to Portugal? That's the one thing. North Macedonia pulling up the upset last week on Italy. So we got a lot to get into, and the World Cup is getting closer. Everybody, be on the lookout for that. Stay tuned for that. This time it's not even going to be in the summer. I don't even know what I'm going to do without a World Cup in the summer. I have to wait till Christmas for a World Cup. Isn't that something, man? That's just nuts. That's mind-boggling. I can tell you that much. It's mind-boggling for sure. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about on Wednesday. Make a special podcast on Friday about the World Cup draw. I'll give you guys the time for Friday, but make sure you guys tune in on Wednesdays for another episode of the Eafp podcast. As the leagues come back over the weekend, give you guys the game of the weeks. Also give you guys some betting if you guys like to bet. Give you guys a little help. I've done so far so well in betting this year that I haven't pulled the trigger on, and I should, because I've been giving out some good results. So Wednesday, pre-matchups to World Cup qualifying. Also games coming up for the week 2 as well. Then we got a good one between Arsenal and Manchester for next weekend. And also I will give you guys a time slot for Friday's podcast, as we're going to look into the groups for the World Cup qualifying too as well. So thank you, Duff Man. Thank you, Nani. Thank you, John, for commenting. Make sure you guys look on all our other podcasts too as well, as the JCA Sports Podcast will be on next tomorrow. Also look out for Sports Drip Live and the EAFP podcast on Wednesday. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and also TikTok. For myself, Eric Avila, I am out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Staggeringly brilliant, and Sevilla fall apart.
Caesar you later.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
He's intolerable.